Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I'm going to show you another Valentine's Day card. This, I think, by far is my favorite. I think because of the colors, and it has more of a modern vibe to it. So it's really simple to make, and it looks a lot more complicated than it is. So let's get started. The first thing we have is our card base, and this is gray granite. It's cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then for the inside of my card, where I'm going to do my stamping, I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 5 1/4 by 4. Now Whisper White, as you know, is discontinued. It has been replaced with Basic White. I do not have any Basic White yet. I had plenty of Whisper White when it discontinued, so I thought I would just keep using it. I have heard from other people who have purchased it that it is almost identical to the Whisper White. The color is a little brighter. It has the same text, the same weight, and it has that same finish on it that that gives it it goes through that extra process that gives it a nice smooth finish, which allows the ink to stamp so beautifully on it. So other than the name and the brightness, it is the same thing that we have all come to know and love in Whisper White. So it's Basic White, and it is now available. So I have a piece of Basic White, a second piece. This is 5.5 by 3, and that's what's going to make this front panel. We are going to emboss it, but first we have to die cut it. Now I'm going to use the Meant to Be stamp set. This Valentine's Day stamp set is in the annual catalog. It's not in the current January to June catalog, which usually has all the Valentine's Day stuff. This is in the annual catalog, and it's called Meant to Be, and I'm going to use this Happy Valentine's Day stamp. It has a coordinating die set that's called Be Mine, and it comes with all of these great hearts. You can see large scalloped ones, stitched ones, smaller scalloped ones, and these long narrow ones. So you have all these different hearts that you can mix and match and layer. Then it has another section of dies, and it has this great die. I just love that. I haven't made a card with it yet, and when you die cut that, it gives you this. So you can attach that to a card to give it some nice dimension. It also has these flowers, a couple different borders, and this little leaf. Stay tuned. I used this leaf and made a strawberry with this and a heart. You'll stay tuned for that. And then it also has this border strip, which is what we're going to use for our card today. I'm going to bring up the Big Shot. I know I usually do my cutting off camera because it saves time, but I wanted to show you how this one came together. And I apologize because when I do a video on my iPad, what looks to me center is right here. However, it's actually center right here. So I try to put myself a marker that I know this is, so I know this is the center, but I find myself just gravitating toward the center of my iPad. So that's why every so often things look a little wonky on my videos. But I do digress. I just wanted to give that explanation to you. I'm going to take my Whisper White paper and I'm going to line this border up on the bottom of it. You could do it up here if you wanted. If you found it easier this way, that's not a problem either. It depends on how you're more comfortable viewing it. So we just want to make sure that that's kind of straight. Okay. And I'm going to bring in another plate, and I'm going to run that through. And that is my magnetic platform that I'm using. And there we go. Take that off. You could probably use that for some other card, but we're not using it right now. And now we have this beautiful stitched edge. And now we have to emboss it to give it our texture. So I'm going to do a quick switch of plates. I'm going to bring up the Big Shot, and I'm going to use the Subtles Dynamic Embossing Folder. I just love this. This is one of my favorites. I use this all the time because it just has this subtle texture to the background, and hence its name. So I'm going to put this card in so that, make sure I got this going the right way. I want my stripes to go horizontally on my end result. So I am going to put my paper right here in the center so that the lines are going horizontally. And when you're using, especially a dynamic folder, you always want to put the folded edge into the machine first. It's just is better for your folder. So I'm going to run this through. And I'm going to run it back one more time. Okay. And end result is a beautifully textured piece of cardstock. Isn't that nice? It just adds so much to it. Now I'm going to come in with some ribbon. That's on my desk somewhere. Here, oh no, that's not it. There it is. This was part of a package. It was a combo pack from a while ago, and it's a basic gray shimmer ribbon. It's a little, looks to me a little darker than, it is a little darker than the gray granite. But when I tried to, I was going to use the same color for my base, which was basic gray as the ribbon is, but it looked too dark. So I decided to keep this one gray granite. I could have also gone with smoky slate, but I thought the granite looked nice. But anyway, I'm going to, now remember this is, has been embossed, so it's a little delicate. Okay, so I'm going to bring my ribbon over. I'll cut a piece here. And I'm going to make a knot over to the right. Okay. I need to have my nails done. I can't pick up my ribbons. And normally I would tell you to really tighten that up, but because this has been embossed and the fibers have been broken down a little bit, you don't want to squeeze too hard because you will split that paper, okay? Turn it around. Actually, I was going to tie it on the wrong side, on the debossed side. Okay, so again, we're going to just tie a ribbon off to the left, but you can put it in the, make it in the middle if it's easier for you, and then just scooch it over. It's not a problem. So there we go. Jeez. I always say that I'm going to make sure that before I shoot a video that has ribbons, I'm going to have my nails done, because they get a little long, and then I can't fuss with the ribbons the way I'd like to. I don't have as much control over them. So there's my knot, and now I'm just going to scooch that over to right about here. Okay, I'm going to get a glue dot, and I'm going to put it behind my knot and press. That way I know my ribbon is going to stay nice and secure. If you find that it's too loose, I'm going to show you a little trick. If you find it's too loose, I'm going to snip this. Okay, oh no, you might say. And then I'm going to just attach a little bit of adhesive, give it a little tug, and lay that down, and do the same on this side. That way I can give it a little more tightness, and see, just that tiny bit overlaps there, but that makes the difference of it moving or not moving. Okay, so there's that. And the next thing we're going to do with this is from a little scrap of real red and using one of the special dies in this set. Oh, here it is right here. See, it's a very intricate die. I die cut this beautiful heart. And with my glue pen, adhesive, if you used like a snail, that might be too much. You could use a fine tip glue pen, fine tip glue, or a glue pen. You can run it through a Xyron. You can do however you like it, but I am a huge fan of these Zig pens. So I'm just going to, on the back side of it, put a little bit of adhesive, especially on the little swirlies, because those might get lifted as it goes in and out of its envelope. So just attach, strategically apply your adhesive to give it some good adhesion. You can certainly come all the way down on all sides if that's what you want, but I think I'll be okay like that. Now I'm going to lift it up and place it where I want it. I want it a little bit over my gray ribbon, and I'm gonna press. Oh, and I see one little thing I forgot to scooch it. I missed. Okay, it's poked out. All right, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside for right now. Now I'm going to bring in my card base, and I'm going to do my sentiment. And I heat embossed it, so I need some Versamark, and I'm going to use the Happy Valentine's Day stamp. I'm going to ink that up nicely with my Versamark. First thing I'm going to do is with my embossing buddy, just apply that on the corner there so that it picks up any static. And I'm going to stamp my Happy Valentine's Day right here in the bottom right corner. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to heat emboss that in white with white embossing powder. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to sprinkle this on there and tap, tap, tap it off. Looks good. I'm going to put all of this powder back inside my jar because this powder goes such a long way. I'm going to give it another once over just to make sure I don't have too many stray pieces of embossing powder. And I'm going to bring in my heat tool. And I'm just going to melt that powder. And if you've watched my videos, you know that I just get so excited every time I heat emboss. I just think it's such magic to watch that powder come to life. And when you heat emboss, you don't want to keep your heat tool on any one spot for too long because you will burn your paper. But you do want to move it. I like to do it in a little bit of a sequential way so that I can follow it and make sure that I'm not missing any spots. And you can see here, as it starts to melt, the white becomes beautifully vibrant. All right, oh, that looks gorgeous. And now I'm going to attach my front piece to this here. Now the reason I embossed, I want to go back and tell you the reasoning for a couple things. The reason we die cut this scalloped piece before we embossed, if we embossed first and then ran it through, I think I made a sample here to show you what would happen. The pressure, here it is right here. So here I embossed first and then I ran it through. And I don't know if you can see this, but right down here, all of the embossing went away because the pressure, when that, from the rollers of that Big Shot go through, it kind of just erases the embossing. So whenever you need to emboss and die cut, you want to always die cut first and then emboss. So that's why we did it that way. Then the reason we didn't attach this and then do our heat embossing, first of all, it's a lot easier not to have stuff in your way. But also, if I had embossed the heat embossed this just a little higher, it might end up looking like this. I might not have had room for it to fit in there. So by putting that there first, when it's time to affix this to it, I can place it, and if I find that this is not cut, is cut too big, I can just trim that. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? So it's best to stamp that first and make this fit rather than attach this first and not have your stamped image fit, okay? I think I said that in a very long, awkward way, but I think you get what I'm saying. So now I'm going to come in with my Stampin' Seal, and this is a very deep emboss. So I want to make sure that I get good adhesion coverage. Sometimes when it's this deep, your best bet is to use liquid glue, but I love my new Stampin' Seal, so I'm going to just use that. And now I want to bring this right up to the top here. I kind of didn't realize how difficult it is because my work surface is the same color as my my card. See that? Okay, and there we go. Now I'm going to come in with my scissors and just trim the tails on my knot. And the front of my card is done. Now I'm going to add some adhesive to the inside, my white inside piece, and I'm going to drop that right in there. And there we go. I haven't stamped on the inside of mine yet because it depends on who I'm going to give it to. If I decide to give it to my husband, I might put something a little mushier. If I decide just to give it to a friend of mine, I'm just going to put You Make Me Happy. If it's going to be with a gift, just for you. If it's for a friend of mine, to the best friend a girl could ever ask for. So it depends on who you're going to give it to, what your inside sentiment is going to be. So I hope you enjoyed this card. And if you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products that I've used, please contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you do not have a current Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like a copy of the catalog, a mini catalog, certainly let me know and I'll be glad to pop one in the mail to you. And as a reminder, Stampin' Up! Is in the middle of its annual event called Celebration. And what Celebration is that during the month of January and February, for every $50 you spend in Stampin' Up! Product before tax and shipping, either from the annual catalog, the mini catalog, or the clearance rack, you get to choose a free gift that comes from this Celebration brochure. So if you'd like any information about that, certainly let me know and I'll be happy to help you out with that. So have a great day and I'll catch you back here again real soon. Bye-bye.